Welcome everyone. My name is Katarzyna STABRYLA-CHUDZIO. My colleague Anna ODROBINA and me, we are from Krakow University of Economics, and we would like to present the results of our research. How can Brexit affect the EU research and development? The research has been carried out as a part of a research initiative financed by the Ministry of Science and Higher Education within Regional Initiative of Excellence program for 2019-2022. The objective of this paper is to determine the influence of Brexit on the European Union with regards to research and development. The core research problem is an analysis of the decline of the EU's R&D potential with special consideration given to the position of multinationals and to the EU budget on EU innovation policy. This analysis consists of two basic parts. The first concerns a specification of the changes in the EU position after Brexit with regards to the chief measures of R&D expenditure and the EU's multinationals enterprises in R&D broken down into specific industries. In the second part, attention is focused on an analysis of the EU budget from the perspective of the changes to the financing of joint R&D programs and the problems and challenges in EU27 research and innovation policy. Brexit weakened the potential of the EU as one of the main centers of world R&D activity. The withdrawal of UK resulted in a decrease of the EU share in global R&D expenditures to the level of 18.3% from about 21%. The impact of Brexit on the main indicators of R&D has been summarized in table below. Brexit weakened almost all the indicators by several percent, from 11.6 to 14.6%. In the case of total expenditure, R&D, they have decreased by 11.6% because UK was ranked third among EU economies with regards to R&D expenditure. The largest decrease, by 14.6%, has been observed after Brexit among the number of researchers in the EU, which must be regarded as an alarming depletion of R&D potential. A similar situation has been observed in the case of the entire R&D personnel. The fact that the number of researchers in the EU has fallen by 317,500 and the number of entire R&D staff by about 463,500 will lessen the capability to build new knowledge. In the area of expenditure on R&D, a vital role is played by multinational enterprises that execute about half of all world expenditure in this area. It would be difficult to overestimate the significance of domestic multinationals for R&D activity, as the matter concerns not only the amount of the R&D expenditure, but also the creation of a network for collaboration and the transfer of knowledge on an international scale. The current situation of the EU is disadvantageous, given the fact that before Brexit, the position of domestic MNEs was significantly lower than American and Asian multinational. Brexit has worsened the situation, and the scale of this impact seems to be enormous. It seems to be enough to mention that the UK was the home country for 51 as 265 EU-based multinationals on the 1,000 multinationals with the highest R&D. Therefore, Brexit will result in the fact that a group of leading EU MNEs would decrease radically, reaching a total of only 214 enterprises. The involvement of enterprises in R&D expenditure is strongly determined by the type of activity which they carry out, as the 5 leading sectors account for about 3/4 of the total R&D expenditure carried out by MNEs. It must be observed that the EU MNEs are the R&D leader in the automotive industry, with expenditure at the level of 60 billion euro in 2019, which made up 48.6% of MNE expenditure in this industry. A strong specialization of the EU automotive industry, MNEs in the world industry, can be pointed out here, so Brexit will not cause significant losses, as the dominating MNEs in the area come from Germany, France, and Italy. Pharmaceuticals and biotechnology is the industry that be most weakened as a result of Brexit, as British MNEs rank third in the world, after American and Swiss ones. EU 28 corporation accounted for 26.7% of MNE expenses in this field, but Brexit resulted in the decrease of this share to a level below 20%. The time of the COVID-19 pandemic has caused a strong mobilization of the EU to strengthen R&D in the health industry. In 2020, the EU decided to allocate funds of around 1 billion euro to research related to coronavirus pandemic, which will certainly strengthen the R&D potential of EU pharmaceutical and biotechnology companies. It must be observed that 3 other sectors will not be affected by the result of Brexit to a large degree, although here the EU's MNEs were never been very active. It seems justified for the European Union to rely on the automotive industry, the source of the EU 27's R&D power, in building the potential of EU MNEs after Brexit. It is also desirable to strengthen the EU pharmaceutical and biotechnology industry to maintain the global attractiveness of EU. In turn, the problem of a significant weakening of human potential as a result of Brexit may be partially neutralized by supporting and promoting research cooperation within the EU, but also with the British side and the global environment. As Brown, Johnson and Phillips point out, public funding of research and innovation, including infrastructure, by both national governments and the European Union, is justified by the fact that the resulting knowledge and scientific progress are a supranational public good, that it benefits the whole society and goes beyond national borders. As a result, spending from the EU budget can be granted in this case to the best research projects in the EU as a whole, and not the best in every country. UK was one of the most important financial net contributor to the EU budget, almost 7 billion euro in 2019. However, research funding was the area with the largest net financial benefit for Great Britain. Under the 7th Framework Programme for Research and Innovation, which was implemented in the period 2007-2013, the United Kingdom brought less than received. It means that UK research organisations and enterprises have received a surplus of almost 500 million euro each year. This number has even increased during the Horizon 2020 programme, the EU Research and Innovation Funding Programme worth 80 billion euro implemented in the period 2014-2020. With all funding sources, including structural funds, UK enterprises and universities received around 1 billion euro a year for R&D. Following WTO rules, the EU is trying to finance more projects that are closer to the market. But one of the weakest points of EU research is to give them practical meaning, although British potential here was one of the strongest EU R&D points. That is why it's worth to mention that many enterprises in the UK received funding under EU program called Fast Track to Innovation Pilot, which provided approximately 100 million euro a year to change innovations in market solutions. In consequence, by losing support from EU funds, British recipients need to be financially secured by national resources or private support. It's evident that Horizon 2020 created an added value of integration process, and simultaneously there is no evidence of significant substitution effects between EU and national R&D investment. According to its interim report of the European Commission, 83% of Horizon 2020 financial projects wouldn't be realized without EU-level support. The UK withdrawal from the EU does not mean a complete lack of participation in EU finances. According to the EU-UK Trade and Cooperation Agreement, the Great Britain will take part in selected EU programs and activities. It is included in the agreement that the UK will participate in international programs such as Horizon Europe, International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor, the Euratom Research and Training Program, or Copernicus, European Earth Observation Program, and will have access to the services provided by EU satellite surveillance and tracking. In this situation, the UK will continue to pay a contribution to the EU budget. The UK contribution will be additional financial resource for the EU budget and will consist of an operational contribution and a participation fee of 4% of the annual operational contribution to finance the implementation of the program. It will be calculated as the ratio of UK GDP to EU GDP, both presented in market prices. The Great Britain, however, resigned from participation in the Erasmus exchange program. Due to the aforementioned research and scientific potential, the UK will have no problem providing its students with a high academic level and attracting foreign students. However, for EU students wishing to study in the UK, there will be significant procedural and, above all, financial barriers. Brexit poses a significant challenge for the EU, whose R&D potential has been greatly weakened, and analyses have shown that the impact of this weakening will be observable. In general terms, this means a downturn in EU research and development and jeopardizes efforts made with the intention of dynamizing and speeding up technological progress. The consequences of Brexit has also been seen with regards to the potential of the EU's MNEs, as Great Britain is the home country for 51 MNEs with the largest R&D expenditure. This will significantly weaken the EU's MNEs in competition with strong global companies. Therefore, the destabilization of EU potential after Brexit has been all the more problematic. There is no doubt that the British R&D had a huge share in European founding. One must take into consideration that the effects of this weakening of R&D potential may lead to the weakening of the EU as a partner for R&D collaboration. To avoid this, in the light of Brexit, the EU should concentrate more on the intensification of its involvement in the creation of R&D potential, although, given the numerous problems resulting from Brexit, this might pose a difficult challenge. However, UK participation in EU research programs will create opportunities for the continuation of EU-UK research cooperation, valuable for both sides. At the same time, the selective participation of the UK in the EU innovation policy suggests that certain issues important for the EU, such as access to education in British universities, have not been positively resolved, especially in the context of a significant weakening of the human potential in R&D after Brexit. Thank you for your attention.